All she had to do was wake up to have her old life back. When the door creaked open after another knock and her grandmother poked her head inside, Sloane stabbed a brush through her long, thick brown hair to sweep away her ever-increasing frustration. "Honey," her grandmother's voice was barely audible, frustrating Sloane even more. "What?" Sloane barked without looking. "You have a visitor." Sloane froze. Who would visit her? No one knew she lived there. Her mind raced, picking at the possibilities. Could it be? Did that one special girl find her? "Is it Finn?" Waiting for a response would have taken 2 or 3 precious seconds, time better spent running to greet her only friend in the world. She darted past her Nana, feet pounding the stairs 2 at a time until she reached the top. "Finn?" Bright afternoon sunlight silhouetted a figure standing near the sliding glass door leading to the deck. Every muscle tingled. It had to be Finn. The person stepped forward out of the blinding light. Her heart sank. The visitor was too tall and box-shaped to be Finn. Another step and a man came into focus. He wasn't in the uniform he wore when Sloane first had met him 2 weeks ago, but she recognized his kind face. His jeans and olive green twilled jacket worked well with his chiseled, light-skinned jaw and trimmed auburn hair. "Bernie? It's good to see you again, Sloane. What are you doing here?" "I told you I'd check in on you, and I keep my promises." He closed within a step and placed both hands on her shoulders. The night of the accident, she wasn't sure how long she'd lingered roadside before Bernie scooped her into his arms and placed her in the back seat of his patrol cruiser. Numbed by watching the wreckage of her family car burn with their parents' bodies still inside, she'd welcomed his comforting arm while the fire trucks drenched the flames. As paramedics tended to the cuts on her hands she'd sustained when she failed to pry her mother loose from the devastation, he gave her a reassuring nod. When she refused to ride in the CPS woman's car, he drove her to the emergency foster care home. And before he left, he'd kneeled in front of her and promised to check on her when he could. Today, he did. Sloane's father had made one promise after another to spend time with her, but rarely followed through. Bernie kept his promise, however, making her feel less sad for the first time since the accident. "I didn't think you'd come." Sloane wanted to grin, but she couldn't. She wanted Finn. Bernie's face softened with a sympathetic smile. "Why would you think that? How have you been doing?" When she lowered her head and shrugged, Bernie bent at the knees to look her in the eyes. "How about lunch, young lady?" "I'd like that." When her eyes met his, she got a wild idea. He was a police officer. Maybe he could find Finn. But before she could ask, her Nana's voice wheezed from the top of the stairs. "You're a hard one to keep up with." Bernie dashed over to offer his arm. "Lorraine, would you like to join us for lunch?" "That's sweet of you, but those stairs tuckered me out. Why don't you two go for a bite at the Tap? It's right down the street." Phew. The last thing she wanted was an annoying grandmother around when she talked to Bernie. Maybe he'd agree to help her find Finn. Maybe Finn's parents would take pity on her and let her live with them. Any house in El Sobrante had to be better than this jail cell. Following a short walk, Sloane and Bernie found a prime seat at the neighborhood pub and grill. Minutes later, the owner, who also doubled as bartender and server during peak hours, delivered their meals. The smell of freshly grilled burgers masked the stale scent of fryer grease wafting in from the kitchen. "Extra pickles, just the way you like it." Dylan placed Sloane's dish on the table in front of her. Rubbing her hands together, she inspected her burger and fries, and then Dylan's hippie-style ponytail and 3-day stubble. He was the one bright spot of her otherwise dismal new life. "Thanks, Dee." Dylan paused, cocked his head a few times as if shaking his memory loose, before laying the other plate down. "And extra fries for Officer Bernie." "Excellent memory."